Good morning, my friends. My name is Lama Jigme Gyatso, and this is Enlightened Fitness, where first we'll use high-intensity body weight interval training to cultivate the body of a Tantric Sex God. And then we'll use guided meditation to cultivate both the heart and the mind of a Buddha. Now, I say this a bunch, but it's super important. Fitness is great for your health and your strength and your longevity and your lucidity. But remember, at least 70% of fat loss is predicated on our nutritional habits. If you'll notice, about 3 inches below the video, there's a button that reads Show More. When you click that, it'll reveal a list of links as long as my arm. Those links will answer your questions about warming up, exercising, about how to count your creases, how to sit, how to meditate. They'll also answer your questions about nutrition. There's a page on my website where there are many resources. Some are free, like videos or PDFs. Some are, links to Amazon.com and specific books that I found helpful. Because quite frankly, I can't give you someone else's book. That's called theft. And it's frowned upon in polite society. I like this book a lot. It's called Healthy Eating, Healthy World. It's not written by a poet, it's written by an engineer. It's very compelling. Today we are exploring some of the ramifications of diet upon the environment. To put a sharper point on it, this chapter is entitled The End of Cheap Oil. Of course, the cheapest oil is the type your skin produces when you're going through puberty. Okay. Gosh, my glasses would make this much easier. Okay. The UN Food and Agricultural Organization lists the following fossil fuel consuming categories in the animal foods industry. Number 1, feed production. Fossil energy is used for the production of feeds, including land preparation, fertilizers, pesticides, harvesting, drying, and so on. It also includes their bulk transport, rail and/or sea freight, storage, processing, and distribution to the individual farms. 2, farming operations. Once on the farm, and depending on location, season of the year, and building facilities, more fossil energy is needed for the movement of feeds from storage to the animal pens, for control of the thermal environment, and for animal waste collection and treatment. 3, intermediate distribution. More fossil energy is required for the transport of products, meat, animals to abattoirs, which means a slaughterhouse, milk to processing plants, eggs to storage, processing, slaughtering, pasteurization, manufacture of dairy products, storage and refrigeration during transportation. And finally, 4, final distribution and cooking, the distribution to the consumer and the final cooking process that also require expenditures of fossil fuels. Did you know that it takes 2 calories of fossil fuel to produce 1 calorie of energy from soybeans? That doesn't sound like a very good deal until you learn that it takes 54 calories of fossil fuel to produce 1 calorie of energy from beef. Herein lies golden opportunity, perhaps the overall best opportunity to greatly reduce our global consumption of energy. On average, about 20 times more energy is required to produce meat calories than to produce whole plant calories. According to an Ohio State University study, even the least efficient animal food, I skipped a sentence. Even the least efficient plant food is nearly 10 times as efficient as the most efficient animal food. Using the more conservative number from the study, we realized that we can produce plant calories with 90% less energy from fossil fuels than it takes to produce the same number of meat calories. If we begin a steady shift towards more plant-based foods, how big of a dent could we make in the consumption of fossil fuels? According to the Environmental Defense Fund, EDF, the animal foods industry accounts for a whopping 1/3 of all fossil fuels consumed in the United States. Let's do the math with these numbers. If we could save 90% of that 1/3 of our energy consumption, we could potentially reduce our total consumption of fuel by 30%. Although some may challenge the numbers from the EDF, the fact remains that the production of animal-based foods is a highly inefficient process for deriving food calories for humans. Further, reducing our demand for products of this energy-consuming industry represents the world's only feasible near-term opportunity for making significant cuts in the global consumption of oil and other fossil fuels. And that's all you get today. Now, of course, being a progressive, tree-hugging, sandal-wearing vegan, I love watching commentaries. Did I say commentary? I meant, documentary. That's the word. I love watching documentaries. The documentary I recommend is called Fuel. I've seen that a bunch of times. And it's all about the feasibility of biodiesel. It agrees with that biodiesel derived from soy and corn are not efficient at all. But Dr. Diesel, the German fellow who invented the diesel engine, originally designed his engine to run off of a fuel that comes directly and exclusively from hemp. He designed his engine with the intention of giving farmers a system that would make them more independent of the cities. The cool thing about hemp-oriented biodiesel is that it's easier on the environment and it's 100% renewable. And by the way, hemp has many benefits both for the environment and for manufacturing, which is awfully cool. So we could reduce our consumption of what's it called, fossil fuels even more if our vegan diet, if the processes that support a vegan diet, a whole food vegan diet, were supported by hemp fuels. Just thought I'd put that out there, because who doesn't love the environment, really? Even Dr. Seuss loved the environment. Anyone here see the Lorax? Anyone here cry during the Lorax besides me? Come on, let me know. I don't want to be the only wimp in the house. So, in review, a low-fat, whole food, plant-based diet is great for you and great for the environment. All right, my friends, let's warm up using 2 repetitions of Indian-inspired 12-phase sun salutation. Great. We've warmed up. We're breathing heavier. We've even broken a sweat. Mazel tov. Okay, kids, let's do 5 circuits of 5 exercises. There's a link below the video for every exercise. Leg exercises, pressing exercises, the core exercises, and the pulling exercises. So you can find exercises that are easier, those that are more challenging, depending upon your fitness level today. And I say today because everything's changing all the time. That was really cool. I could tell you who coined the phrase, the way consonants change, but I'm not that cool. Okay, first circuit. Heel squats. Toe squats. Woo. Okay. Some form of press. Wow. First set of thrusters. I love thrusters. They are a great core workout. Plus, they are cardiovascular. What's not to love about that? I remember about 10, 12 years ago, I was asking a friend, or I was lamenting to a friend, oh, if only there was a cardiovascular core exercise. First set of shins. Second heel. Second toe. I'm reminded of Daffy Duck, who sometimes before getting a beat down would say, "Mother." Wow. Okay. Second thrusters. For those men who are enthusiastic to increase their sexual performance, I gotta tell you, there's a direct relationship between training your core and having great sex. I'm just saying. second chin. Eddie Murphy, when he was doing stand-up comedy, had a whole routine about the ineptitude of someone's sexual technique the first time they make love. Contrasted with their technique 5 to 10 years later. Wow. Okay. Welcome to the third circuit. Wow. Third heels. Third toes. Wow. Whoops. Third press. Look out. He's gone stupid. Wow. Whew. Okay. Third set of thrusters. Woo! Third set of chins. Ironically, the greatest challenge of this workout is to count the reps and the sets and keep them straight. Welcome to the fourth circuit. Woof. Quick sip of water. Fourth, heels. Oops. Fourth, toes. Fourth, press. Wow. Okay. For those of you wondering, I assure you negatives do work the muscles. negative repetitions. That means starting off, lowering yourself down. Okay, fourth set of thrusters. Fourth set of chins. A female fitness instructor insists that a full chin repetition only counts if the bar touches your chest. And that makes a lot of sense. Otherwise, you're just working your lats without your biceps. Okay, my friends, welcome to the fifth and final circuit. Fifth heel. Fifth toe. Fifth press. Woo! Wow! Okay. Wow! For some reason, wearing my flip-flops when I do the thrusters is easier on my arches. Don't ask me why. You can't tell from there, and as I'm doing those thrusters, a substantial amount of sweat's pouring off my body. Hence, the rod catches the sweat so as not to rot the carpet, because that would be lame. Fifth and final set of chins. Been said by some experts that until you can do 36 repetitions per set of strap chins, you're not ready to do a single complete proper repetition of vertical bar chins. I don't know if that's true, but it's a fun mental experiment to play with. And this one, unlike Schrodinger's, requires no pussycat. Woo! Chopping off part of my head. It's the Llama of Sleepy Hollow. That's better. By the way, have you seen Sleepy Hollow, the Tim Burton movie with Johnny Depp? If you haven't, rent it. It's hysterically funny. Woo! I'm not sure, but I think the actor or the stuntman who plays the Hessian Horseman or the Headless Horseman is the same actor slash stuntman who played Darth Maul in The Phantom Menace. But I could be wrong. All right. The last 3 guided meditations have been 30 minutes long, approximately. This one will be approximately 36 minutes long. It's going to be comprised entirely of review. So if this is your first time doing a guided meditation with yours truly, set yourself up for success. One of the first links below the video will take you to a page of my website where all the Enlightened fitness videos are organized first by length of workout and then by length of guided meditation. Start off with a 3-minute version. When you're comfortable with that, do a 6-minute version. Always leave yourself wanting more and set yourself up for success. What's that? You say you've been meditating 20 years and you don't need no stinking patience? Then you need some stinking humility. Badges? We don't need no stinking badges. I'd like to say that was from a movie made in the 40s or 30s, but I got that from Saturday Night Live in the 70s. That was my imitation of John Belushi. Okay, so please sit erect. Yes? Yeah, that's a titillating term, is it not? Please place your left hand palm up in your lap. Please place your right hand palm up in your left. Thumbs do not touch each other. There's a whole video about how to count, play with your thumbs in your creases, so we won't go into that here. Of course, that here was a reference to the first Next Generation movie. The line must be drawn here. Jean-Luc Picard, arguably the classiest of the captains. Let's begin by playing with 3 practices that are borrowed from the Chog Chain tradition of highest yoga tantra that are designed to we're going to use them to help center our energies. The first one is arguably the tantric version of Anapanasati, or awareness with breathing. It's the Buddhist version of the Hindu alternate nostril breathing, only we're not going to touch our nose. Playing purely with intention. On the in-breath, let's intend in through left. On the out-breath, let's intend out through right. In through right, out through left. In through both, out through both. Wait, there's a question for me from the past. Hey, Mr. Gyatso, what if I don't do it perfect? Don't worry me from the past. You won't. The goal is not to do everything perfectly, but to simply be aware of what you're doing, be mindful of what you're doing, and strive to improve. This is sometimes known as the 9-breath meditation. Let's do it again, this time with the one-syllable paradigm, left, right. Right, left. Both. I'm not going to say that as a kid I had no sense of cool, but when Welcome Back Kotter came on, the character I'm most related to was Arnold Horshack. Now we're going to let go of all this stuff. This ease. Or better yet, noticing, relaxing. Now we're going to reduce this to its one-syllable paradigm. This ease. So what we did was some bliss work and then some letting go work, and you put it together, and what do you get? The Mahamudra of bliss and letting go. That's what we're going to do now, some more bliss and letting go. The bliss portion of the practice is going to be focused on a silent, concise version of Guru Yoga. And like many of the things I teach, it's unconventional, controversial, and why some people conclude I'm Satan himself. Folks, if I was Satan and had all that power, or I manifest greater health. I'm just saying. So let's begin with, we're going to use assumptive questions, rhetorical questions, to influence our creative inner mind and start looking for things that we could feel grateful about. Not should. That's the quick path to guilt, and no one needs that. But that we could feel grateful about. Thanks for what? Releasing. Thanks, teacher. Releasing. There are many benefits to generating gratitude for one's numerous teachers, not the least of which is that it reinforces humility. Who were our first teachers? Our parents. They taught us not to soil ourselves, didn't they? They taught us how to use the potty. That's an integral component to successful life in a polite society. And now we're going to switch just to the energetic aspect of the exercise. Where, heart, whom, and then be a little teeny tiny syllable HUM, or just a little teeny tiny blue syllable H at the center of our heart wheel in the upper third of our chest, about a thumb's width before the spine. You don't need to know the exact location, your body already does. Where, heart, whom, releasing. We're going to reduce that to the one-syllable paradigm. Whom, free. Ugh. This is a great exercise to do in the morning, bad exercise to do before bed. In my experience, it may be too hyper to fall asleep. Whom, free. Alright, now let's return to noticing, relaxing. And that's the line in the sand that when crossing indicates we're leaving the realm of the contrived and entering the realm of the spontaneous. This ease. Oh, I got to haze a cockroach. Not killing him, just disorienting the guy. Because they can bite. It's no fun being bug food. Okay, now it's time for... Whoops, I skipped something. That's very adventurous. Now we're going to play with the rehearsal of the transference of consciousness at the moment of death. Usually I like to do that before Guru Yoga, but today's going to be a little bit exciting. We're going to start with Mahayana cultivation of universal love. Give to each great rebirth. Now we turn our attention to our own auspicious rebirth. Great rebirth, out through crown. What we're referring to is that we tend to, for our very subtle mind, not our coarse mind, not our subtle mind, but our very subtle mind, to eject through our body, outer body, upper central channel, out to the fontanel, or crown of our head. Once again, great rebirth, out through crown. Many people insist this requires violent effort, but I insist it requires only a gentle, gentle exhalation. For at the moment of death, most likely that will be all that we're capable of. And now once again, just like we did with the Guru Yoga aspect, we're just going to play with the energy. Wear crown Om, releasing. The Sutric aspect of the practice is that we're intending to take an auspicious rebirth. The Tantric aspect of the practice is we're intending to leave through the crown of our head. Because of all the chakras, the crown is most efficacious for helping us to let go. One syllable version, Om, free. Noticing, relaxing. This ease. Our last centering, warming up exercise is what I like to call a steady in bliss. Wide pull head, releasing. How long breath, jaw relax. Where tongue tip, releasing. Why grin now, releasing. Noticing, relaxing. this ease. That was approximately 12 minutes. There's a myth that's crept into each school of Buddhism, and it's very, very sad. The myth is that the goal of meditation is to go into a thoughtless state where all you experience is bliss or nothingness. Now, can that happen? Oh, sure. Now, that's just a natural process. The longer you sit and meditate, the longer it's comfortable for you to sit and meditate, the more that'll happen. But that's not the goal of meditation. That happens every time you fall asleep. If that was all it took to become a Buddha, then every bear who hibernates every winter would be fully enlightened. Remember the 3 B's. What are the 3 types of humans? Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and boobs. Who's a boob? We've each been a boob whenever we've allowed ourselves or found ourselves being the slave to our impulses. Bodhisattva rebels and says, I choose to subvert this tendency of being a slave to my own impulses. By what I choose, by what I say, by what I do. Therefore, I'll use Buddhist techniques of wisdom, peace, love, and joy to rebel against those impulses which have made me less than a happy camper. What then is a Buddha? Buddha is just a bodhisattva. He's gotten so good at all of Buddha's techniques that he's able to practice them with such a degree of mastery that he can practice them spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively. Therefore, the purpose of meditation is not to run like a coward from the nightmarish monster of suffering, not to stick our head in the ground like the proverbial ostrich, but to condition ourselves, to habituize ourselves, so that we can truly master Buddha's techniques of wisdom, peace, love, and joy, so they become second nature. I'm a movie buff, and that's one of the ways I coerce my body to rest. So when I watch a particularly scary scene in a movie, I'll meditate in hopes that when I find myself in a scary situation, I can meditate. I remember a few years ago there was a substantial earthquake on Easter, and as I was walking across my undulating floor of my apartment towards the safety of the doorway, I was able to meditate on Tonglen. I say that not to praise myself, because I'm pretty silly, but just to show that if we practice with the intention of habituating the practices, we can. You see, it's folly to say, I'm going to ignore how my brain works and choose to make my brain work in a way it's not wired to work and call that enlightenment. That's not enlightenment. That's folly. That's foolishness. Or there's something called neuroplasticity. Repetition changes our mind. The more we feel fear, the easier it is to feel fear. The more we cultivate peace, the easier it is to cultivate peace. The better we are at ordering off the dollar menu, the more we order off the dollar menu at McDonald's, the better we are at it. The more we make salads, the better we are at making those. The more we lose our temper, the easier it is for us to lose our temper. The more we play the victim, the easier it is for us to play the victim. The more we enthusiastically apply our teacher's instructions, the easier it'll be for us to apply our teacher's instructions. How cool is that? Okay, let's continue with the long rim, the graduated path, the path with steps. It's like a slide, folks. You can climb up the side with the steps, or you can climb up the side that's smooth. It's more fun to climb up the side with steps. Although, as a child in this life, as a boy, I relished climbing up. I wanted the challenge of climbing up the smooth side of the slide, which of course distressed and infuriated the little girls in my preschool class who had already climbed up the ladder for the slide and were waiting to slide down. Hence, perhaps a fundamental difference 90% of the time between little boys and little girls. Okay, so let's climb that ladder. Let's play with renunciation. Yesterday we played with body. This time let's play with mind. How mind not satisfy. Why turn from suffering's cause? How karma be quite just? How this chance be precious? Thanks for, oopsie, let's try this again. Noticing, relaxing. This ease. Now let's turn our attention to Tonglen's union of compassionate taking and loving giving. How could each be kind mo? We're going to contemplate taking away everyone's foolishness in the aspect of blowing black smoke. We're going to use cryptic, three-syllable contemplative meditation. Do I take fool as black smoke? Got that syntax from a villain in the movie Serpent in the Rainbow who said, "Happy, happy island people," before he tortured the protagonist. Whoops. How are all more than me? Oh, scary, scary movie. Okay, we're now going to intend to lavish every living being with great wisdom in the aspect of white, bliss-inducing light, where we're going to use cryptic, three-syllable contemplative meditation. Why give wise as white light? In through nose, out through pores. And this helps us with the visualization that comes next. Take full smoke, give wise light. fool wise. Now let's contemplate Buddha's wisdom of letting go. Uh-oh. Excuse me. Pardon. Okay, Buddha's wisdom of letting go. Come, let us let go of our minds. That doesn't mean we become stupid. We're just not going to cling to our minds with white-knuckle intensity. Where feel mind? Releasing. How is mind dependent? By the way, what can the mind be dependent upon? How about components, causes, conditions, and awareness? Let's face it, the mind will have a different experience if you're focused on Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it's contrasted with, I don't know, Bambi and Thumper. Completely different results. How is mind dependent? Back in the 70s, there was a controversial animated short called Bambi versus Godzilla. That just came to mind. I thought I'd pollute your consciousness with it as well. How could mind always change? How could mind not be me? This doesn't have to make sense. It's just an empowering contemplation to play with. Remember, these are rhetorical questions. How could mind not be me? How could mind not be mine? M-I-N-E, possessive. How could mind not be grasped? Let's try this again. Why could I let mind go? Why would I let mind go? When will I let mind go? What seeing, releasing? What hearing, releasing? What feeling, releasing? How could mind be funny? Grin with lips, releasing. Noticing, relaxing. This ease. So that concludes the second third of this morning's guided meditation, the Law of Brim. Let's conclude with, let's get back to something super simple, like oscillating back and forth, or swinging back and forth between Meta's loving kindness and Vipassana's awareness and letting go. Woof. Woof. Let's start with love. How love good, releasing. How love feel, releasing. Give to me love for all. Give to some love for all. Give to all love for each. Give to each love for all. Each love. What's seeing, releasing. What hearing, releasing. What feeling, releasing. How could this be funny? Grin with cheeks releasing. Noticing, relaxing. This ease. Let's return to the metta that wishes everyone great joy. How joy good, releasing. How joy feel, releasing. Now to me give great joy. Now to some give great joy. Now to all give great joy. Now to each give great joy. Each joy. And we'll conclude with Vipassana's awareness and letting go. What's seeing really seen? What hearing really seeing? What feeling really seeing? How could this be funny? written with eyes releasing. Noticing, relaxing. This ease. That concludes this morning's 36-minute guided meditation. And you might say, hey there, Jabba Jaw, that went considerably longer than 36 minutes. Well, if you were to sit down with a steno pad and a pen and just write down the contemplative notation and then practice it on your own, it would take you approximately 36 minutes. By the way, some people get anxious and wonder if they're breathing wrong. Here's a quick rule of thumb. Number 1, breathe deeply on the in-breath, relax on the out-breath. Number 2, the longer you sit in meditation for twice daily session, the more you'll just slip into the groove. So the body will take care of itself. Don't worry about it. I invite you to join me for a gentle set of geriatric yoga. Entitled Untying the Heart's Knots. Whew! Goodness gracious. Okay, here we go. Please sit erect and lace your hands behind your tush. Please open your chest and twist to the left. Why give wise releasing? Any dolt can learn to relax. It takes a great saint to train his heart to give. Now to each give wisdom. Back to center. Please release your hands, lace them in your lap, swing them out and overhead. Please bend to the left. Why give peace, releasing. Please reverse. Now to each give great peace. Back to center. Let's Let's make our way into downward facing fetal position, which is also known as child's pose. Woo! Such a workout.
Give to each, love for all. Curl hands in the fists. Place the knuckles of the fist upon the yoga blanket just above the knee.
Stridently straighten the arms and ride the momentum into the seating samurai pose, which is also known as lion's pose. Please place your hands behind your tush. Please open your chest, drop your head, roll your gaze up. What seeing, releasing. What hearing, releasing. What feeling, releasing. Please release your hands. Please cup your palms. Gently press your hands together so the center of each palm is suspended before the upper third of your chest. Please adjust your posture. Relax your shoulders down. Using your hands, please press into a left-facing twist. Why give joy? Releasing. Back to center. Relax your shoulders down. Please twist to the right. Oof. Now to each, give great joy. Back to center. Relax your shoulders down. Please make your way into the hands and knees position in preparation for cat-cow asana. Whew. Open mouth, slack jaw. Now to each, give comfort. Please stand up and place your weight upon the major and minor ball of each foot. Behind the big and little toe, heels lifted off the mat. Settled bend in your knees, hips thrust forward. Hands laced behind the tush, chest open, head dropped, gaze rolled up. How could this be funny? Grin with lips, releasing. Noticing, relaxing. In this final phase of our practice, I invite you to participate in 3 verbal recitations, which are recorded at the end of every practice in the free PDF that you can download entitled First Set of Practice Texts. You can get to that page by using the link labeled Class Materials. Of course, you don't have to do that now. Won't you join me for 2 repetitions of Indian-inspired 12-phase sun salutation? By this virtue may I now accomplish the spontaneous, habitual, easy and effective mastery of Buddha's mental yogas, of wisdom, peace, love, and joy, and now lead every living being, without exception, to this ground. May everyone be healthy, wealthy, and happy. May everyone practice skillfully and joyfully. It will accomplish Chimnei in this life, and then help many others do likewise. For truly that is the meaning of life. Om Mani Padme Hum. Let's conclude with 2 repetitions of Vietnamese inspired bows. May I always be cared for throughout all my lives by the Buddha of compassion, emanating as my kind teacher. And as such may I always enthusiastically and joyfully tread this excellent path praised by the conquerors. Well, my friends, thank you for your time and your kind attention. I thank you for your enthusiasm to grow and improve yourself, both physically, cosmetically, intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually. And of course, I thank you for your support. May you and yours be healthy and happy. Om Mani Padme Hum. Before you go, I want to remind you to click the subscribe button and the like button, as well as the share button. At the end of in a few moments, at the end of this video, I invite you to find the YouTube button over there. Give that a click. It'll take you to your personal home page. On the left, you scroll down to the tab that says Manage Subscriptions. Look up either Lama Jigme or Tantric Sex God 1. And you'll notice there's a little box to the right. Please check that. That way you'll be notified by email when I load up my next video. Or I should say, upload my next video. Remember those links I told you about below the video? You could use one of those links to help keep this monk fed, which would be beautiful, but not mandatory. You could use another link to register for the next series of live weekly webinars. When do they begin? Monday, the 6th of May. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.